there. So I just wanted to have a little chat this week. I'm just back from my latest Disney World trip. Got back about a week ago. And this is just going to be a pretty informal little chat, so you may hear the dogs coming in and out, that sort of thing. Just ignore them. It was terrible. In 20 plus trips to Disney, this was by far the worst. It was terrible, horrible, no good, very bad. So let me tell you about this terrible, horrible, no good, very bad trip so that maybe you can avoid some of these mistakes. So our flights there were great, no problem picking up our bags. We booked an Uber to take us from the airport to Grandestino Tower. The Uber driver was not knowledgeable at all. He'd been driving for Uber for maybe a week and a half, he said. He didn't know where to pick us up. He turned into Hollywood Studios before we finally wound up at Grandestino. Not really a fun way to start your vacation. You know, you get there and you're like, you're just so ready to be there that you don't want to be, I don't know, doing all these little detours. So my recommendation to avoid that and have a much better experience is book either the new Mears Connect service that replaced Magical Express. Book Sunshine Flyers. Now I realize that with both of those, it's going to work just like Magical Express. So you might have a little bit of a wait for the motor coach to leave, and you might have multiple stops at Disney hotels. But they're going to know exactly where they're going. It's going to be what you're used to. In addition, Disney has also started offering private direct transportation. So you can add that on to your package, and Disney will come pick you up at the airport, take you straight to your hotel. So that would also be an excellent option. So we get to Grandestino and our check-in process fell apart. The room that I thought I had reserved for us was not reserved for us, and they did not have any rooms in the category that we wanted. So we were scrambling. I really, really didn't want to stay in a standard room at Grandestino. I really, really wanted to stay in the tower. So we had two cast members helping us, Kaita, C-A-I-T-A, and Marlene, M-A-R-L-E-I-N-E. I cannot say enough good things about these cast members. They were kind, they were patient, they went above and beyond to get us into a room that we would be comfortable. What we wound up doing was I found availability at Art of Animation, a standard room in the Little Mermaid section. I booked that. They jumped through hoops to refund our money. So when I paid for Grandestino, I had paid for it with a gift card. That's fine, but no, if you use a gift card, you have to have that original gift card in order for them to refund the money to. You have to have that number. For whatever reason, I had left the gift card at home. This is not the first thing that I would discover that I had left at home. But I'd left this gift card at home, so we weren't able to refund that money to that gift card. So we were if it hadn't been for Kata, I don't know what we would have done. She was the one who knew that they could just transfer all of the money that we had already paid, because we paid in full for Grandestino, over to Art of Animation, and there would be like a little bit left over, and it would just show up as a room credit. Like she was on the phone with Central explaining to them how to do this. She was amazing. So just know, if it's your mistake, if it's Disney's mistake, regardless, cast members are so helpful and will really do anything in their power that they can to help you. If things aren't getting resolved the way that you want them to, just take a deep breath, continue to be kind, because they are honestly doing their best. And you know, I cannot say enough about the staff at Grandestino, about that frontline staff. They were amazing. So at this point, we take our bags to Bell Services and ask for them to be transferred to Art of Animation. Good to note, if you are transferring hotels, you have a split stay, they do not do baggage transfer afternoon. So the cast member's like, we can't do this for you. And we're like, great, here we go with Uber again. However, there was another cast member. He's like, you know what, I'm not doing anything. Let me just run that over for you real quick. He grabbed the keys to the vehicle that they used to transfer, took my bags, and took them immediately to Art of Animation. So thank you, thank you. And I did not catch his name, but he worked in Bell Services at Grand Destino, and oh my goodness, it had been a long day. We'd been up since about 3. I hadn't slept the night before. Then we arrived and had all of this, so that was just amazing. We had scheduled a dinner for that night for Toledo. We decided that we didn't want to wait around for that we were ready to get into the park and we were starving. So we moved that out and wound up canceling it, and instead went to Rick's Sports Bar and Grill. The food was good. Nothing exciting, but I mean, it was good. It wasn't overpriced. It wasn't bad. It was good. From there, we went to catch a bus to Epcot. We waited forever, like 40 minutes. 2 buses came for Hollywood Studios. A bus came for Animal Kingdom. A second bus came for Magic Kingdom. So 1 bus had come and gone. The second bus had come, and this is after all of those others. So at this point, we grabbed the bus for Magic Kingdom and just take it, and then once we get to Magic Kingdom, get on the monorail and go over to Epcot. Rather than wait around any longer. It was at this point that, after waiting for 40 minutes on the bus, that I realized that I had sent all of my sweaters and jackets in my bag to Art of Animation. I was freezing. FYI, pack layers, make sure that you have everything that you need when you go into the parks. $60 later, and I have a new jacket from Disney. So I'd wanted... I didn't want to buy a jacket, but I found a jacket that would work, and I needed it in an extra large. I looked all over the store. There was no extra larges, and that would be a common theme. Some merchandise would be in stock. I don't know if you can see it behind me, but I found the 50th monorail that I was unable to get on our 50th trip, and so I brought that back with me. And then other things like the Figment popcorn bucket, that's gone forever. So this very sweet cast member scoured all over and was able to come up with an extra large, which fit perfect. I don't know what that says about me. I'm hoping it says more about Disney merchandise. But anyway, I digress. So it was just cold. We walked around World Showcase a little bit, and then after we got done with the park that evening, we caught the Skyliner back to Art of Animation. Once we arrived, went to our room. This room, it was a standard room. It was just the furthest from everything. I've stayed at standard at Pop. So the Skyliner services both Pop and Art of Animation, and it sits in the middle. So you've got Pop on this side, a little lake that has the Skyliner, and then Art of Animation, and they're mirror resorts. But I just felt like that Art of Animation was so much more spread out than Pop. This was my first time staying there, so maybe I just need to give it another chance, but I did not care for the room location. So just know, if you are booking Art of Animation and you want to not be a hike from the Skyliner, a hike from the buses, and a hike from the lobby dining, you need to book a preferred room, or you need to book a family suite. Okay, if none of that appeals to you, then I would recommend Pop. I've stayed standard at Pop and enjoyed it, so that would be my recommendation. So the theme for this whole vacation was cold. It was cold. Know that you can have those varying temperatures when you go to Florida. Make sure that you're packing layers. I packed layers and I wore layers. Sometimes 2 and 3 layers. And it was just still so cold and miserable. We spent the whole entire trip trying to plan ways around the cold. We were looking for those inside attractions, which thankfully for Florida, because it's usually so warm, most of their attractions are indoors. And we were able to experience things that we don't normally try out. So Walt Disney Presents in Hollywood Studios, fabulous. American Adventure in Epcot, amazing, and it's like 20 or 30 minutes inside. Same thing with Hall of Presidents over at Magic Kingdom. So if you're looking for ways to keep warm, keep cool, consider those. Another thing that you might consider is booking a deluxe hotel. I have a trip planned for July, and I already know that I won't spend as much time in the park, so I have booked Boardwalk. I wish I would have booked Deluxe for this trip because we were cold. And those deluxe resorts just have more amenities, more kind of things to do around the resort, so you can get out of those elements. But the other thing that we did was not only have new experiences, but we also picked up a ton of table service dining that we had not anticipated picking up. We booked Garden Grill, a character meal at Epcot over in the Land Pavilion. Amazing. Absolutely 110% worth the money. It was $60. It was all you can eat. It had Mickey, Chip, and Dale, and Pluto. And I'd never done it because Chip and Dale, I'm like, meh. The character interaction was fabulous. The food was amazing. If you've ever done the ride, the Land, this restaurant like is on, it turns. So you get to go all the way around kind of the Land ride down below, and its experience was amazing. We also picked up a booking at Artist Point for Storybook Dining. It was okay. I've done this meal before and I enjoyed it much better previously. So I don't know if it was just the timing of our seating. I don't know if it was just an off night. The food was okay. It wasn't heated as much as I would like, and the character interactions were meh. Whereas when I've been at this restaurant before, the character interactions were over the top. My absolute favorite character meal I've ever had on property. So maybe because I had such a fabulous experience last time and this one wasn't quite up there, it just felt, eh. I will say the interaction with the Queen was hands down the best character interaction I had for the whole trip. She was amazing. She was really, really good. But those are some things that I would have done or that I would advise you to do to avoid the cold. We talked about the room. The wait times and the crowds for this trip were crazy. It was just constant. It was very, very busy. So going the end of January has always typically been a lower time. You're after Marathon Weekend, you're well before Princess Half and after Martin Luther King weekend. So we expected low crowds. We did not have low crowds at all. It was very busy. We were lucky, I guess, and I don't really think it's luck, but my friend has a disability access path. You don't really want one of those, so that's not a good thing because it means that there's something wrong. But it came in handy for combating the wait times. So on this trip, previously what we would do is we would get a return time and then we would just go ride something with a lower wait time. We would get a return time and then we would go to a show and wait for that return time. We avoided a lot of outdoor interactions just because we didn't want to be out in the cold. So I would absolutely recommend Genie Plus for this. And as crazy as it sounds, rope drop. Like if there are certain things that you want to get done, just get there early in the day, get them done first thing. Use Genie Plus. I haven't really been a big advocate of Genie Plus, but there it is. The other thing to know is in the week that I've been back, I've been seeing quite a few reports that Disney has been drastically inflating wait times. I'm not talking like a little bit. Like somebody went to get on Rise and it was a posted 80-minute wait and they were on within 8 minutes. Flight of Passage posted 60-minute wait and they were on in 12. So just know that, and then other people have posted, that must be nice because they had a posted wait time of 120 minutes and I waited 150. So just know, Disney wait times aren't always accurate. And then the other thing that just really went terrible on this 5-day trip was transportation to the park. I talked a little bit about on the first day waiting for that Epcot bus. Well, since we were on the Skyliner, we really looked forward to taking that. So we leave Epcot one night There were a lot of days on this trip where we would wind up hopping over to Epcot. So we leave Epcot one night after the fireworks. We stayed, and this line was ridiculous. So I don't know if you've been to Disney or not, but there's the Skyliner, and then they had it like snaking back and forth, and then they had it extended back over the bridge towards Boardwalk. We were like, this is crazy. So what we wound up doing to get around that was we just walked to Hollywood Studios. We could have stood in that line for who knows how long and been bitterly cold. Instead, we walked to Hollywood Studios. It was about a 15-minute walk. Got on the Skyliner there and went back to the hotel. So there's that workaround. Another morning, towards the end of the trip, we were done with the cold. We were planning on going to Hollywood Studios. We went to get in the line, and we had waited, instead of trying to be there for early park entry, rolled out of the room about 8:45 at Art of Animation. The Skyliner line for Pop, the Pop and Art of Animation share was, I mean, ridiculous long. Again, we would have probably been in that line 20 or 30 minutes. We thought about just getting some breakfast, waiting for the line to die down. Instead, my friend hopped on, ordered an Uber. It was like $10, and we were at Hollywood Studios in the same amount of time that we would have just been waiting on the Skyliner. So that's all, you know, an Uber on property is always an option. And generally, if you're getting picked up on property, generally those people are pretty familiar with property. So, I mean, that's always an option there. So just know that you do have access to alternate transportation, and know that if you're looking at going to the park, you either need to get there early. So, for instance, Hollywood Studios that day opened up at 8:30. We should have been in line at the Skyliner at 7. Because they'll say that they start running that 30 minutes prior to park open. 9 times out of 10, it's an hour prior to park open. They won't tell you that, but that has just been my experience. Same thing if you're taking a bus, you know, an hour and a half prior to park open is when you should be there, because that line builds. So let's say, hey, let's say they really are going to stick to that and they aren't going to run that line until half an hour before park opens. People are still getting in that line well before they open it, and so then you're just at the back of the pack. So, you know, go get your coffee, get your breakfast, hop in line, eat it while you're in line, and then be one of the first ones on there and one of the first ones through the touch styles. You never ever want to be at the back of the pack. It's miserable and crowded and just anxiety inducing. So that is, we were so ready to come home. We were so ready to come home. All of this being said, if you're taking a trip to Walt Disney World, plan. Go in with a plan. Any plan at all is better than no plan. Do your research, reach out to a travel advisor, kind of know what you want to do, and they can help you figure out, you know, what order to do things in to help maximize your time, your best options for where to stay, all of that. And just know that things can always go wrong despite the best plan, but Disney cast members are there to help you in any way that they can. And they are friendly and helpful, and, you know, as a guest, go in and be a guest and treat them with kindness and respect too. So that will do it for this episode. Know that I get a do-over in just a month. We are a month out from my son's band trip to Disney. My husband and I are going to drive down for that trip. So stay posted. I'm going to keep you up to date on the planning for that. I'm going to continue to go over tips and tricks about Disney and how to plan a Disney vacation. And so I will see you next time. Bye!